Hello, you're back with Dave and Tim with a single malt review as we delve into the penultimate whiskey in our Kavalan journey. These are truly the royalty of Taiwanese whiskey here, coming out of the King Ka distillery, aptly named, and we have today the peated whiskey. Now, this one is a bit of a standout from the others on the list.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. It is a comparatively mild 50% ABV, which makes sense since the solist expression is below 54 like the rest of these. And it is also a bit of a mystery in that, there's a bit of uncertainty around the source of the peatiness.
Source of the peat is unclear.
Best we can find is that Kavalan have on occasion put their unpeated whiskey into casks that used to have peated whiskey. We've seen this before in other expressions, and it is a good way to get that flavour when you don't have peat available to you, as is the case in Taiwan. Otherwise, some places have been known to import Scottish peat or other sources of peat and use that to roast their barley. Either way, this is the peated Kavalan.
I think this is Dave whiskey. Hang on.
Oh. And it's possibly, some expressions have been through Oloroso sherry casks. I'm going to top up mine just a little because
I think chances are extremely good that this has been in Oloroso. I think exclusively. As much as this is a peated whiskey, this is getting into Glendronach territory. This is very sherry.
Again, a rich dark colour thanks to the very favourable conditions in Taiwan. Atmospherically, nice and warm, nice and humid. Good rapid whiskey maturation, and
this is very promising.
Yeah,
this is
a gooey, treacly aroma. A bit of brimstone though, a bit of vulcanized rubber, a few of those peaty overtones, so we know this is not fooling around. There is going to be some smoke.
As much as we could find out, this is presumably or presumed to be 8 years old, which is actually pretty old for hot climate whiskey. So.
But again, that was based on one particular year's version of the solist expression, so expressions will vary.
Ooh.
Oh, that's robustly peaty. If that's all coming just from the cask, then that'd be a surprise.
No, this is as it describes itself minimally. This is peated whiskey. Yeah. I'm quite certain of it, and it strikes me as Isla peat as well.
It's definitely either Isla peat or something that is chemically, I guess, botanically very similar.
This reminds me of the experiments in peated whiskey that Ben Riach did in the early days of the Ben Riach Distilling Company, when Billy Walker got in there and gave everything a bit of a talk up. And they got into some old stocks of, I think the one I'm thinking of was over 20 years old. It may have been 21-year-old. Experimental peated whiskey, which had been put down, donkeys years ago, long before it was even a twinkle in Billy Walker's eye owning this place. And those were in sherry oak of a similar kind, and that's what it's putting me in mind of. And those, as I say, 21 years old, and probably, if any, still remain thousands of dollar items now. So this is hitting that same spot. Initial signs are this could be a pretty jolly good whiskey.
Yeah, and it is robustly peaty, but still very drinkable at 50%. Normally, a particularly smoky whiskey at that strength would just be would explode the senses. It would be borderline painful to sip. But no, this is splendid.
Something tells me a little bit of water is going to do this one a world of good.
Yeah.
It's currently the only knock I've got is that the peat and the overall sherry matured experience of the whiskey are a little bit disjointed. The peat's just kind of doing its thing over here, whereas the sherry's kind of over here on its own, and they're not really speaking. But
I have, alas, drunk half of mine already, so it was a very restrained pour on the water. I don't want to overwater this.
Here we go. That has really got the fruit going. We're getting.
It is separating the cool minerality of the peat from the heavier syrupy fruits.
They may be just a teensy bit separate still, but now the fruit alone is astonishing. We've got nice stewed raisins. We've got. Actually, raisins is definitely that's the top banana there. Only it's a raisin. Let me see. Yeah, red fruit across the board. Really nice, spicy pudding, fruitcake is what I'm desperately reaching for. Should be extremely common tasting it. Really, the best of sherry matured stuff that you're looking for, with that little bit of peat, just to give it a bit of kind of gives it a bit of tang, gives it a bit of
it means it's not
panache
just
to keep it
a
going.
syrupy, fruity, overly sweet stew. It's got some balance to it. It's got some contrast, not really conflict, but just a little bit of spice to just
The
really
peat
set
still
things off.
isn't quite meeting in the middle though. I almost wonder if I would enjoy this more if the peat just wasn't even there. Because it's like as spot on as the sherry maturation is here, and I think it is absolutely spot on. We just tried what would be the closest analogue to the Wiener Barrique Solist at 54%, and that one was just an explosively cask-driven thing. There is quite a lot of spirit character here, but where it would normally be more visible, then suddenly the peat's kind of sitting on it. There's a maturity to this one, which I think is tremendous. And if anything, I think the peat is just kind of getting in the way. I just don't know if it's really all coming together.
I would love to know, is it actually peated whiskey, or has a portion of this gone into an ex-Lafroy cask?
Yeah, I mean, it could be both. It's for my money, definitely peated malt they've used, either entirely or a portion of. The peat's just too far set in there.
But either way, it has worked impressively, I think, and it is. Yeah, if we took the peat away, you would just have a rerun of the Oloroso sherry, I believe.
Yeah, weird one. If that peat has fully landed, fully integrated, this one would be stellar in a way that I would have trouble describing outside of using a number, which I'm going to do anyway. But yeah, for me, it's fallen just a little bit short because the peat's kind of playing catch up with the rest of the. There's the whiskey here this is the sherry matured whiskey here, and then this is the peat. Down here, and it's just not quite at the same operating at the same level for me. So it nets out an 86. Still perfectly good dram. Yeah. It's just the peat seems superfluous in a way. I don't know. What do you think?
I think the peat is adding to this rather than just providing a gimmick. This one is for me. Sitting on a 91 here. We're in the top tier of a peat.
That's one of the rare, interestingly spaced out ones that we don't produce of. We've gotten more consistent as the years have gone on, or at least more synchronized. Yeah. But yeah, that's an interesting one. Well, who to believe? Who indeed? You'll just have to give us your thoughts in the comments if you've tasted
which is
it.
the best part. If there was truly objective flavors in more, reviews would be pointless because everyone would have exactly the same opinion.
Or you could do some sort of algorithm, the flavour bot. What a job. Anyway, just a lucky last to go, so catch us for that one. Slanja.